How's it going, guys? Today is Wednesday, April 14th. Today I want to dive into a trade review on the SPY, and we'll also go into the QQQ short trade that we have on a longer time frame. We'll dive into that. First thing I want us to look at here before I go on to another chart is I want to take a look at the ratio between QQQ and SPY and why it is that I took the trade in the SPY and why it is that I think that the Nasdaq confirmed that. If you notice over here, 338.19 on the left side of the screen, just kind of follow my cursor here. That 338.19 is the old prior all-time highs, and that is my bigger picture short trade that I've taken in the Qs. And I'm gonna go over to that chart here in a couple minutes. But first, I want to dive into this SPY trade review. And so this was the alert that we sent out on Discord. I entered the trade. It says 10:35. That's actually when the alert went out. And this average cost of 62 cents, which is $62, $62 in total. The thing is that I actually entered the trade a little bit early, and I'm going to kind of go into that a tad bit. But so for those of you guys who saw this alert, I apologize. It came out a little bit late. But nonetheless, there's the alert. This is the update, a following update. And then this is the closing the position around 12:15 this afternoon. And I think that, yeah, so this one profited was 138.71% on the day as far as that trade goes. So I want to kind of go into this, my logic behind taking this trade. And as we noticed in the last several weeks, we've had quite the run up in the SPY and the Qs and across the market altogether. So I definitely want to be involved to the short side when it takes place, when it happens. And for those of you guys who are, this is a little off topic, but I've gotten a lot of questions about this. So for those of you guys who are who feel the pain when you are on a losing streak, because we've all been there. In fact, this last week to a week and a half, I've been on that losing streak. So even though I may have made around 4,000 today, just to be transparent, I'm still down around $6,500, $7,000 in the last, I don't know, 7 to 8 trading days. So I totally understand the pain. That's part of the business. That's part of trading. What I usually do is a little bit of tips and guidance on that. Is what I usually do is there are times that I will stop trading altogether. Another way through that pain process is if we find ourselves drifting away from our trading plan as far as how many shares we're going to buy or what our risk tolerance is, we might be a little bit over positioned, and therefore our emotions get more involved in the trade than they need to be. If we're sticking to the trading plan and we're executing the trades like a computer or like a robot, it takes the emotions out of the trade altogether. So for the tips as far as that's concerned, sometimes you can stop trading for a little bit, take a little breather, take a break from trading, or just kind of follow the charts, lower your position size, readjust your stop loss yield or the stop loss variables that you use as far as how far away you want to have your stop loss, something to manage the risk. The other thing is we all go through these little time periods of losing streaks. We also go through time periods of winning streaks. And that's the same thing as if we're running this as a business, then we really have to look at it like, you know, we're going to have losses. You know, we want to take inventory of the business and we want to understand why it is that we're losing this. So hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you guys think as far as what are your tips that you like to or the things that you like to do when you're on a losing streak. You know, for me, again, like I said, it's the biggest thing is possibly take a break from it. Stop looking at the screen for a little bit. Stop looking at the plus and loss and really dive into why it is that we're losing money. Okay, on to the charts. I'm going to get off that. The trade that we took specifically in SPY, the reason why I took the trade, I was mainly watching the Qs. And as we know, the tech sector, what is it, 20%, 25% of the SPY, it's very top heavy. So I'm looking for a pullback in a lot of the big names that we know, the Apples, the Amazons, the Microsofts, the Facebooks, the Googles, Tesla. I'm looking for a pullback. It doesn't mean we're going to see a market sell-off from here. I'm just looking for a pullback. And I definitely wanted to be involved in the downside, and that's why it is that I took this trade. So what I first saw, and I'm going to go to a higher time frame in a minute, because it's hard to see it on the 15-minute chart. As you notice here, we're looking at the 15-minute chart, and it's definitely really hard to see on this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a higher time frame, and I'll really show you today's activity. This to the right of the green line is today's activity. And so what I want to look at is we came into the day with a little bit of a sell-off in the Qs, and then we have a little bit of consolidation, bear flag consolidation, and then we had the dump. And so I'm going to kind of go over to the SPY. This chart down here, down below, you see the SPY, and we had a little bit of straight across action. It got a little bit volatile. You notice the difference between these candles right here and say these ones back here, or even these ones back here. Look at the size of these candles in here. That's pretty volatile, and I think part of that is the Fed or some sort of announcement today, or and I'm not really sure what it was, but I'm sure there was some sort of Fed announcement, or Fed was speaking or doing some sort of news conference or something. But okay, so the size of the candles tells me right off the bat that there's a little bit of indecision in the marketplace. It really doesn't matter what time frame I'm looking at, but at a lower time frame, it's getting a lot more volatile. So that was a little bit of an indication. Plus, SPY wasn't really going where it was trading at the lows or near the lows of the day. The first indication was this reversal type candle on the 15-minute time frame, which I don't give a lot of credit to, but nonetheless, it is a lower time frame, but it still is a reversal type candle. Well, price failed to get back above that reversal candle. As you notice here, it found some resistance and then started trading off lower. If I go back up here to the Qs, Qs sell off, bear flag consolidation, and then I'm going to kind of zoom in on it and show you what it was that I was looking at. This candle right here, which is really hard to see, I'm waiting for that candle to break the low of not just the low of day, which it didn't actually do. This was the low of day over here. I'm waiting for it to break the low of 338.19 because that's my weekly time frame chart, which I'll go show you in a second. That's the price that I'm very much interested in on a weekly time frame. So looking back at the SPY, when we saw it got down this low, bearish consolidation across the screen, what we're looking for is some sort of candle that will give us an indication of, you know what, the floor could fall out from beneath us. Now, that was originally this first red candle that we saw, and that's when I put the alert out. And the thing is the second candle we got was a continuation type candle, and that candle was an inside bar candle as opposed to this red candle up here. And this whole pattern, in fact, is bearish considering where it came from as far as 413. Once it broke the low of day, we kind of knew at that point we're going to see a flush down in here, and of course we saw this dead cat bounce. Which was also posted. I was looking for a continuation move to the downside, another break, low of day, which we eventually got. Closing the position out around 12 o'clock. I'd have to go back and look at it. I believe it was around 12 o'clock when we closed the position out as far as the day trade goes. So that was the reasoning behind taking the short trade. I knew that if we were going to get a flush, it would be worth the downside targets. It would be worth taking a day trade. As far as the Qs trade, I'm going to kind of go into the next topic here, which is the Qs trade. So I'm going to just kind of do this. Auto zoom. Let's go out to a higher time frame. First, let's look at the 4-hour chart, and I want to show you, or let's look at the 2-hour chart, and I want to show you something on here that we didn't get to see. This was another reason for going short in the SPY, is we do have a reversal candle on the 2-hour time frame, which you don't actually see. We don't see the reversal candle on the lower time frames, and this is why it's important to look at all time frames. We don't want to just look at the 5-minute chart, the 15-minute chart, or even just the hourly chart. We want to know what the daily is doing. We want to know what the 2-hour chart is doing. We want to know what the 1-hour chart is doing. And this is why the Qs already gave us a reversal candle, meaning we could see more bearish things develop over the next several hours or the next several candles, which in this case would be 2-hour time frames, 2-hour candles. Just like we saw back here when you saw this candle back here, and this was a couple weeks ago. But we saw this bearish candle back here. That gave us an indication that the several candles after that could turn out to be bearish to the downside. And of course, back here it did also. And so that's something that we can use to our advantage. I saw this on the Qs, and this was well before. This is a couple hours before the actual dump took place, which gave me more conviction in taking such a hefty short trade. 50 contracts expiring on Friday was a pretty strong position to take. And so that's all I was looking for. That's pretty much what I was looking for as far as the short trade goes. Now onto a higher time frame. This is the trade I want to show you in the actual QQQ, and this isn't the actual proxy trade. I'm actually in a short trade right now on the Qs, and I've been talking about this since the last video. I've been talking about this price area of 338.19. Now I'm not saying that today is going to be reversal candle and we're just going to start seeing this waterfall sell off. That's not what I'm saying. I'm willing to take a trade as in on a higher time frame over the next couple weeks. I'm willing to bet that prices are not going to be above this 338.19. And it's not even that I'm willing to bet that. I am betting that. That's what the bet on the table is right now, is that we're going to see a little bit of a pullback. Now to go to a higher time frame and kind of show you guys, this is the daily chart. Let's look at the monthly chart, and then we'll go down to the weekly chart. So on the monthly chart, we already see that we have two reversal candles. We've also talked about this on the last video. We have a reversal candle in here, a second reversal candle, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. This candle right here is actually more bearish than it is bullish, and it's even on heavier than normal volume. So what we see is one of two things is going to happen in the Qs. Either this is the high, this is a down move, a sell-off. This is just a retracement of that, and as of right now, we're at 100% retracement, which is also something that we've talked about in the last video. We don't want to be going long at 100% retracement of this kind of a pullback, because it could be a down move, and that's what my bet is right now, that it is a down move. Now, I know full well that I could be completely wrong in this trade, and that, you know what, maybe it'll just dip down a little bit. Maybe it won't. Maybe tomorrow the price will open up and we'll get some good news and we'll rally on up here. I'm willing to take that kind of a risk. That's definitely a I wouldn't say it's a concern, but it's definitely something that's on the board as far as, that's a risk that's involved, and I'm willing to take that risk. My bet is that prices where they came from $300 are not just going to fly by this area without some sort of pullback. If I get a 50% pullback, I'm willing to book profit. Heck, I'm willing to book profit at a 30% pullback before prices begin to rally up higher. But I'm also willing and wanting and able to hold on to those contracts a little bit longer to see if I can get closer to the $300 range, which I don't know if I'm actually going to get. I'm just throwing that number out there. I don't know what's going to happen with the Qs. Now let's go to a weekly time frame, and I'll show you on the weekly time frame with the Qs. We're beginning to see that resistance now show up in what could be a reversal candle. If I do this, I don't know if this is one just yet. It's a potential reversal candle if we close the week below this 338.19, and that's what I'm looking for to stay in the trade. By Friday, if prices stay below 338.19, I'm going to stay in the trade. By Friday, if prices close above 338.19, I'm going to get out of the trade with taking the stop loss. And so on the weekly time frame, we see we had this pretty crazy move out of here, pretty crazy rally out of here. And so right now we're waiting to see if there's going to be a higher low in here. As far as if we are bullish, are we going to wait for a higher low in here, possibly going long at some sort of support level down here? That's what I would do if I was bullish in this market, is I would wait for a pullback or wait for consolidation for a few weeks and then a breakout. While we're on this chart, there's something else that we talked about in the last video. While we're on this chart, I wanted to go over this. It's as far as the Q is running up into this resistance of $300. That's why this was a good buy zone down in here. And we did take this trade out of the Qs, or proxy trades, and taking Apple and several other names, waiting for this breakout, taking the higher low trade. We've taken these trades to the long side. Now it's a time to reflect on how far do I want to make this trade stretch. If I am still bullish, do I want to keep holding it? This was a nice target, this 336, 338. That's a pretty nice target. I didn't, to be honest with you, I've held for a couple days out of this breakout, maybe a day or two. And that's the thing, is are we really wanting to stretch this trade as long as we can, or are we willing to take profits now, wait for the chart to set up for something that's a little bit more favorable? And so where are we on the chart? Because I'm noticing a pattern here. This is a high, right? It ran up, it put in a low, this one put in a low, this one put in a higher low, and then it rallied back up here. Right now, I'm looking for a higher low. That higher low could have been this price area right here. And let's just say it was. Let's say it was a higher low. And then we get this rally on up here. Are we just going to fly right through this area on, maybe heavy volume, maybe not heavy volume, but are we just going to blow right through this area? I don't know yet. That's something that we're watching. If we go down to a lower time frame, to give you guys in the next couple days, what do I see in the next couple days? And this would apply for all of the markets, all of the names that are in the Qs, the FANG stocks, Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, like all the stocks that are in the Nasdaq. What I'm looking for right now is, this is technically a reversal candle on the daily chart. So would I be willing to go long right now? And the answer is not necessarily. I want to see a little bit more of a pullback, wait for it to find some sort of support. Maybe that will be down here around 333.73. Maybe it'll be down here around 331.71. The best place that I would love to buy this, we could do some Fibonacci's in here, but I would like to buy it down here around 322. And some of you guys might laugh at me, you might unsubscribe, but there's a reason why I say that. This area right in here, there's a reason why I say that if price got down here, I'm not saying it will, but if it does in the next couple of days, I would love to be a buyer in that zone. And the reason why is there's gap support under this area right here, which to be honest, that gap could be filled and maybe it'll be a little bit lower, but that gap could be filled, who knows. But this is an area where the chart ran up into some sort of resistance, pulled back, ran up again, pulled back. It really took this amount of work before price was able to break out of it. And it's been a while since we've been back down to that price area. I'm not sure. I would think this. I would imagine that price would stay above current prices around 335. That would kind of be my line in the sand. If you guys are looking to go long or you're in a long trade right now, my line in the sand would probably be around 335. It's possible that we pull back to this gap support down here just underneath 335. It's definitely possible, but I think at this point I would definitely wait for this reversal type candle to play out, and let's see what it does tomorrow. If for any reason over the next couple days we trade sideways, if we can consolidate in this area or even consolidate and make a higher low, and if it does something like this, I'd be willing to take a breakout trade to the long side. But unless it does that, unless it stays, it needs to stay really above 338.19 in my opinion to favor more to the bullish scenario. Although now that I've said that, I really have to give you guys both sides of the story here, because based on where we're at up here right now, there's really nothing wrong with this. I mean, to be quite honest with you, we could pull all the way back to 328 or even 327.35 and still be bullish on a daily time frame. So that's quite the room that it has. It could pull all the way back to here, you know, and still be bullish. It could pull back, bounce off, and still rally up above. So those are kind of the price areas that I'd be looking for. If I go down to a 4-hour time frame, really look at what's going on, this might be a turnaround point right here. So far it is a failed breakout, meaning that price got above this weekly close or this weekly high of 338.19, which is this high right here. Let's do this. Price got above this area. It got above it one day, and then since then it's been rejected. And that's what we were kind of looking for as far as the short trade in the Qs. That's what we were looking for. We're looking for some sort of failed breakout, but on a bigger time frame on the weekly chart. So far right now, a failed breakout is technically more bearish than if price had just been consolidating under here as if it never broke out. So because of that, because of where price came from, I'd be leaning more towards a little bit more to the downside. The only problem, and I don't know this for sure, but the only problem with leaving you guys with this is I don't know where price is going to go to. I just know that if it gets to a certain price area, I'm willing to take a trade, probably down here, just above 320. So that's what I would be looking for. As far as the SPY, this is getting a little bit long, but I wanted to go over. Actually, instead of the SPY, let's do this. Let's go over to COIN, and let's go to the daily chart. COIN IPO today. We'll just talk about this because I know a lot of people are interested in this. This isn't a bullish candle. This is definitely a bearish candle. Anything can happen tomorrow. We could open up at higher prices or even way up here. I don't think so though. I think we're still going to see a little bit more to the downside. We picked up 4 shares today. It was on the Discord. And by the way, the link of the Discord is in the description of the video. So here's the thing is that we went ahead and it IPO'd, it ran up here. I think it pulled back, somewhere in here it pulled back to 405, and that's where I got involved. It was around $4.05. I picked up 4 shares at 405, so I didn't go heavy. I told the Discord in the alert section what my plan was. I want to invest $10,000 into COIN, but I'm not going to do it all in one day. I'm going to do it over the course of however many weeks or however many months. It really depends on the chart. I'm more of a technical analysis person. And I wanted, coming into today, I wanted to buy shares if they remained underneath $400. If they're going to go over $400, I wasn't interested in it because I don't want to chase it. Just like we took the Roblox IPO. And by the way, the Roblox one was in the Discord as well. But just like Roblox, it's okay to wait and give it some time. We don't need to get involved right at IPO. And this is why we can definitely wait for it to rally, wait for it to burn off some of the steam. And then us getting involved around $61.25. If I would have known that was going to be the low when we put out the alert on that, I would have definitely bought a lot more, but I didn't know that was going to happen. There's always a chance that it could sell off a little bit more than that. So now, just like Roblox, we're going to wait. We don't need to be buyers up here. We're just going to give it some time. Especially if it's a long-term investment, there's no reason why we need to jump in and spend a bunch of money on it. If I go back to COIN, and kind of take a look at it, what I'm looking for now is to see what price action does after this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait a couple weeks. I'll probably wait at least 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. I'll let more time, more information develop on the daily chart so I can get a better feel of what the stock is doing. And anything is possible at this point. I know a lot of media has hyped this thing up, a lot of social media, a lot of media. And it's kind of that's kind of their job. Their job is to hype these things up because they want to get as many investors to invest as possible to really, I don't want to use the word dump the shares onto the market, but to get more investors involved into it, get as many people involved into it as possible so they can make their money, so the original investors can make their money. Anything is possible at this point. It could go down to $250 a share. It could go up to $500 a share. We really don't know. We need a lot more time involved in this. I definitely want to put more money towards it, but I'm not willing to just jump in right now, especially off of the type of candle that we got today on the daily chart. Okay, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys have gained value out of this. Feel free to hit the like button if you gain value. Hit the subscribe button, bell notification. We go live on Sundays, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will see you guys in the next video.